We click the modes over here. You'll see that we have capture only, we have capture and match timing, pitch or level, and then we have capture and create doubles. If you are simply sending your audio from your DAW over to Revoice and then doing all your work and then sending it back, I would recommend leaving capture on. But what we're going to do is we're going to explore at least one of these new modes. With this main audio event selected, instead of capture only, I'm going to choose capture and create double. From here, we have the ability to navigate to presets. Instead of just capturing, we can actually capture and create a double, which we could then instantly spot back. If we head over to Revoice Pro, notice that we have no tracks in this session right now. But if I have this event selected and I choose the option to capture audio with capture and create double, take a look at what happens. I'm going to show Revoice Pro now. You can see that we have a doubler process that was created. And then of course we could spot this directly back into our timeline if we needed to do so. I'm going to expand my track header width a little bit over here. Let's solo this out and let's go full screen. Now I'm going to right click, and what used to be create warp region is now adjust pitch, timing, or level. It's also worth mentioning that the same shortcut, which is W, will work to get us right into adjust the pitch, the timing, or level. I'm going to hold down Option Command, or that would be Alt Control on a PC, and notice that we have the ability to dynamically zoom by click holding and dragging our mouse. Holding down Shift Command, we can click, hold, and drag to reposition. If I temporarily navigate over to audio, we can now hold Option Command, and this will allow us to zoom in or out our audio waveforms. And it's worth mentioning that we're not actually changing the level here. We're just changing the vertical height, how much data we're presented with. I personally like to have them somewhere around the same level as my pitch blocks. I'm going to hover back and let's change back to pitch. Now by holding down Option Command, but also we can use the T key and the R key, click, hold, and drag to reposition. We also have a new pitch block layout, and this is again inherited from repitch. So if we highlight across a pitch block, let's zoom in here. Notice that as we mouse hover, we have these different control points. So first of all, let's start off with this one at the top. We can click, hold, and drag, and we have the ability to either flatten out the pitch trace or increase it. If we drag past the point where the line is straight, we can actually invert it. Now, in addition, we have a control at the bottom right-hand corner, and this will allow us to dial up a correction amount from 0 to 100%. So this note is pretty close to being pitch-centered on this note, so we're not seeing that much of a change. We also have the ability to click, hold, and drag to make basic level changes. So if you had something that was a little too loud or a little too quiet, we could either increase or decrease the levels as needed. Last but not least, we have the ability to click, hold, and drag, and we can adjust the drift of each of these pitch blocks on a case-by-case basis. Now, when you have a pitch block selected or multiple pitch blocks selected, if we double-click, we can snap this to 0. But first of all, let me offset this a little bit. And now with this pitch block selected, let's double-click, and you'll see that that snaps to 0. So enter the Shaper tool. We have the ability to add nodes that will automatically anchor themselves to the pitch trace. And then instead of actually slicing up our pitch block and having to manually move those different sections, we can adjust the pitch trace of a pitch block as needed. If I hover my mouse cursor and click, notice that this by default has created multiple points. It's created a point in the center, and it's created a point to the left and a point to the right. Now from here, we have the ability to click, hold, and drag, and I can make subtle adjustments to this pitch trace. So you can see here that we're adjusting the amplitude of those two pitch points. Now, if we hold down the Alter Option modifier when clicking a point, then we're basically locking down the point before and the point after, and we can just readjust this, and it's keeping everything else anchored. So I'm going to add one more point over here. And now notice that we can dynamically adjust the pitch trace here of these individual points just by holding down the Alter Option key. Another thing that we see is if we choose the Center Notes tool, this has been updated. So we now have the correction amount, which we can dial between 0 and 100%. And in addition, we also have a drift control. So I could dial up everything over here, and then I could change the drift here. And you can see that that's moving just slightly. Depending on the length of the pitch block, you may see either a big change or a very, very minor change when it comes to drift. I'm going to switch back to my main selector tool, and let's zoom out. I'm going to focus in on this specific area. Let's double click and have a quick listen to this. And if we zoom in and hover our cursor at the edge or a boundary over here, notice that our cursor changes. So if you have multiple pitch blocks that have been selected, we can drag any one of these points and it will anchor down everything before and after. So we have the ability to change the timing of a section. Let's undo that and let's actually go the other way now. Any changes that I'm making in terms of timing are being applied not just to the lead vocal, but to the double as well. So let's take a moment to break down what we have here. We have a female lead vocal, and then we have a male lead vocal, which is actually a unison of the female lead vocal. And then these tracks, we actually have two female high harmonies, which are singing an octave above the main lead vocal. Let's highlight all of these events over here, and I'm just going to drag an instance of Revoice Pro link, and let's just show Revoice Pro. So now I'm going to extend the track header out over here, and let's go auto size track heights. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to tune this lead vocal. So we're going to do a full pass. I'm going to solo this and go full screen, and then we can right click and adjust pitch timing level, or we can use the W key, either one of those. So I'm going to do a Command A, and we will right click, we will pull up the center notes tool, and let's dial this up. You can see everything is kind of moving into place. And you know what? For this, let's go to 96%. And I'm not going to touch anything with the drift. We want the male lead vocal to follow the pitch and timing of this lead vocal. Then we want these two tracks to completely follow the timing. We want the octave unison to follow the tuning, but we don't want this harmony section to follow the tuning of the lead guide. But what I would really like to do is have this harmony section be tuned, because it's not perfect, and I would like to have it perfect, but I don't want to have to do multiple stages or multiple passes. Now I'm going to call up the B key. We are going to make sure that we're in a match process. We will select selected audio. For presets, I'm going to navigate to something really specific. I'm going to navigate down over here. So we want tight timing and pitch, and we want to match the unison, and we want to tune the harmony. The whole entire match process, that will use the lead guide's timing right across the board. Anything that's a unison, and this can be an octave up or an octave down, this could also be sung by a male vocalist or a female vocalist, it doesn't matter. Anything that's a unison will have both time alignment and tuning alignment, and anything that is a harmony will be time aligned, and the harmony notes, which are obviously different than the lead vocal, they will be tuned automatically, and this is of course based on the sung performance. So our lead Vox 2 female, that is going to be our guide track. That is what everything is following. And then we have three other tracks. We are going to add all of these at once. And notice this new process panel. As I added tracks, it cleaned up the track list and it filtered things out. So it's a lot easier to work with. Now, because I only want to control one set of parameters for all of these outputs, because we're aligning three tracks, I'm going to create a process group. So now with these settings in place, I'm going to create a new process. I'm going to zoom in. First of all, let's listen to the original performance.
We can run and hide, get a little drunk on wine, so I have the guts to speak this out loud, loud.
Now with the process group, we can engage the play button directly from here, and this will automatically solo everything that we need.
Maybe we can run and hide, get a little drunk on wine, so I have the guts to speak this out loud, loud.
I'm going to zoom out a little bit and let's have a listen to the back end. If you recall, there was this section right over here. We'll listen to the before.
Someone that can make me feel something when I'm feeling nothing at all.
And now the process group.
Someone that can make me feel something when I'm feeling nothing at all.
So, Smart Pitch, a completely unique and revolutionary way that we can work with our tuning and our timing adjustments when working with multiple tracks, regardless of whether they're harmonies, unisons, octave doubles, different vocalists, different ranges. I've simply chosen the destination track and I've enabled capture and then a real-time capture. If we head back into our DAW's timeline, we can listen to our results in real time